totally forgot I had this stuff. Oh yeah, that's good. I'm like a slob dripping it all over myself. Okay, so you're starting a photography journey, eh? I've been there and I know the frustration. It takes time, patience, energy, practice, and a shitload of money. Now, I can't help you with the patience or the energy aspects or the money thing for that matter. You're on your own on that. However, what I can do is give you some quick beginner photography tips that will help you save time. These tips will also give you some direction regarding where you need to go practice in order to get better. Now, that being the case, let's get cracking with the top 7. I'm sure I got 7 fingers up there. Top 7 beginner tips that will improve your photography right now. Tip number 1. Try new things. And I know what you're thinking, Alex. I don't want to try new things. I just want to get better at this one kind of photography I like. My friend, spoiler alert. Photography isn't just about learning skills that are specific to landscapes, portraits, or whatever personal favorite yours might be. Instead, photography is about gaining confidence. I'm going to say that again. Photography is about gaining confidence. Now, you gain confidence by practicing a lot, right? And you can gain confidence by putting what you know how to do to work in different situations. Maybe you're pretty comfortable with composing landscapes photos. Well, now it's time to compose some portraits. Well, will your portraits be worthy of a huge print hanging in a museum? Probably not. But applying these skills you already have to different situations will force you to think about what you're doing. It also requires you to adapt. So those compositional skills you already have under your belt become a broader base as a result of trying something new. So trying new things also helps you get over the fear of being a beginner photographer. I get it, you don't want to mess up. You don't want to embarrass yourself in front of other people. We've all been there, seriously. But the sooner you branch out and try new things, the better you'll be. Tip number 2, think about angles. I'll be the first to admit that there are times when I pull out my phone and snap a quick photo without putting much effort into it. But these types of photos aren't meant to be masterpieces. And if you want to improve your quality of your photos right now, working the angle from which you shoot is a great place to begin. So, the next time you're out shooting and find something that catches your eye, do me a favor. Well, do me a few favors. Move to the left of the object, move to the right. Get above the object too, then try photographing from a lower perspective. Move around if possible. By doing all these things, you might very well discover that the subject looks a million times better than the initial angle from which you were shooting. Here's an easy example. When photographing your kid, you can shoot down toward them from your eye level, but if you get on their eye level, you get a much more pleasing angle that shows the world as they see it. It's a huge difference, right? Now, hunting for fresh angles works all kinds of photography too. Landscapes, portraits, streets, photography, macro, you name it. Tip number 3, guys, do the opposite of what everyone else is doing. There's a Seinfeld episode where George complains that everything he does is wrong. So Jerry tells him to do the opposite of what his instincts tells him. The scene kind of jumps where George complies, and instead of lying about his lot in life as he normally would, he gets a date with a woman by telling her the truth, that he is unemployed and lives with his parents.
My name is George. I'm unemployed and I live with my parents.
I'm Victoria. Hi.
If doing the opposite worked for George, it can work for you as well. We've all seen those postcard shots, iconic places, in Yosemite, Banff, and Lofton Islands. They're all great, but everyone takes the same shot. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to capture that awesome view, but it can be more awesome if you do the opposite of what everyone else is doing. For example, earlier this year, I was in the Lofton Islands in Norway. Just a little bit north of a little fishing village called Rena, there was these beautiful, kind of yellowish orange fisherman huts. There's this bay that went around it, and on the other side, there's like this little kind of half-assed dock. And you had all these photographers just hoarding on this one location, getting this. You had this majestic mountain covered with snow in the background, and then you had these orange yellowish fisherman huts, and the contrast between the two looked fantastic. And then you had this kind of like midnight blue, kind of greenish water separating the two, and all these photographers were hoarding in one section right there, and everybody was getting the same exact spot. Don't get me wrong, I did take that shot, but what I also did was there was a section off to the left, and you had these big, gigantic rocks. And the tide was down a little bit, and I walked down there, and yeah, it was a little of a pain in the rear end to get down there, but the shot, as you're going to see here in a moment, turned out to be one of my favorite shots of the trip there, because now I have all these beautiful round shaped rocks as foreground interest. Then you had the water, and then you had the same fisherman huts in the mountain that everybody else is getting. So the angle, the much lower angle, it gave a different spin on that such kind of cliche shot that everybody else was getting. Anyways, getting back on topic, photograph the subject from the back, move to the left, move to the right as noted earlier, shoot the subject upside down. Use a different lens to get a different perspective on the scene. The point is that your photos will have trouble standing out from the crowd if they look exactly like every other photo that has ever been taken on the subject. By thinking about doing the opposite of what everyone else is doing, or kind of zigging when everybody else is zagging, you challenge yourself to think more purposefully about composition and to be more creative. And that's how you get better at photography. Tip number 4. Do the hard work of planning. Now, I've got a newsflash for you. All those incredible photos that you see on Instagram of breathtaking photos of landscapes and gorgeous models aren't the result of chance. By that I mean photography is like working out. I can drive to the gym and I can stand in front, but the results I want won't happen unless I get in and get to work. With photography, you need to spend time in planning your shots and preparing to take them if you want the best results. Now, this doesn't mean you need to spend hours and hours in endless research. You guys, 10 to 15 minutes will do. Plan your shots by, scouting locations, looking at photos for inspiration, learning a new skill you can apply for a specific shot, getting apps to help you. For example, on my iPhone, I have Photo Pills, My Sunset, TPE, Sky Safari, to name just a few. Or grab your gear and get out there and explore. Some of my favorite locations that I've found has just been where I took a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday and just went out recon with my camera, just a kind of a casual day, no purpose, just looking for some really cool spots that I could later use. Now, you get the point. Now, sure, planning and preparing to take a photo isn't super fun. Well, sometimes it isn't, but it does help you get improved results, and that's exactly what we want. Tip number 5, use a frame within a frame. Now, this is a super simple technique that will give your photos the added punch you so desperately want. Now, all you have to do is frame your photo with something in the foreground of the shot. One of my favorite examples of this shot is from Iceland. Take a look at how this cavern and how it creates this natural frame for the epic waterfall. Light and shadow can frame a subject as can the back of a chair, 2 cars, a doorway. There's really no end to these things that you can utilize to frame the subject. Another good example I'll share with you. A couple days ago on my Facebook feed, I saw somebody had this brilliant photo up there. They took 2 frames, literally one was larger than the other, and they were at the beach, and they positioned them about 4 to 6 feet from one another, and the large frame in the front and the small frame in the back, and then they positioned their model probably about a good 10 feet behind it. So you have these 2 little frames, the big frame framing the small frame, framing the person, and they were kind of stuck in the sand with the surf. It was an absolute epic shot. I'll track it down and I'll repost it here, and also I'm going to try it myself with my son here probably upcoming weeks. Not only does this trick result in more interesting composition, but it also gives the shot much more depth because the frame or the background are likely to be out of focus. Besides, this looks really stinking cool as well. Tip number 6, seek better light. It's not just about better angles you need to find better light as well. Shooting under midday sun is generally not going to get you very far in good photo department. It's harsh light, like look at this back here. It's strong contrast and simply doesn't look good. Instead, shoot at the golden hour. Golden hour light is much softer and much warmer, and those 2 qualities really have a tremendous positive impact on your photos and how they look. If you're shooting portraits outside, find some shade underneath a tree to minimize the contrast. Cloudy days are great for portraits too. It's nice, soft, even light, and it's flattering for portraits. Kind of like Mother Nature's diffuser. If you're photographing indoors, photographing a person or an object, just move them closer to a window for better light. Trust me, natural light filtered through a window looks a million times better than artificial light beaming down from above. Tip number 7, take your camera everywhere. Okay, maybe not everywhere. If your camera stays home and you're not practicing, you're not learning, and you're not challenging yourself. So, if you want to get better, probably the easiest thing you can do is just shoot more. You don't have to take hundreds of photos per day either. Just take 5 to 10 minutes a day to take photos, and that's really all it takes to put into practice some of the things that you've learned. All the tips in this video can easily be done in that amount of time. What it comes down to is simply making the time and ensuring you have the gear you need when you need it to get better shots. And there you go, my friend, 7 tips to get you out there rocking. Now, if this video was helpful to you, or you liked it, please do me a favor, hit the like button down below. We really do appreciate it. And if you aren't already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. We put these videos together to be able to help you out. And last but not least, hit the bell button. You'll be notified every time we have a new video that comes out. So, get out there, have some fun, and create your best shot.